Welcome in to our Tiny Week Ahead reading. I am T from Tiny Divinations, coming in to break down the energy of your week. So, we have 3 different piles. Pick the pile or piles you are drawn to. We also have songs for each pile, so pick the song you may be drawn to, and I will see you in your reading. Welcome in pile 1 to your week ahead reading. Let's get into the energy. So, the song that you have is The African Power. It's actually an instrumental song. I put the links to all the songs in the video description. The cards that you have for the energy of your week: I Can Be Trusted, you then have Consider the Source. You are receiving strong messages from someone. How is what they are saying uniquely connected to who they are and what they're all about? Do you respect and admire their choices and behaviors or not? Consider the source of these messages as you evaluate them and decide how you want to relate to and learn from them in this moment. And then we have Nucleus. Do you want to build a life around this issue, feeling, value, or person? How can you decentralize that which you don't want to build around and center that which you do want at the heart of your life? Okay, so starting with just these cards in terms of the energy of your week, I love number one that we got the African Power, and in this card you have the Feather of Ma'at in hand. Okay, the I Can Be Trusted card to me in terms of the energy of your week has to do with a couple of different things. So you trusting yourself in terms of being able to know what to do, or to be able to trust yourself to react in the right way. So, for example, trusting yourself to know that you won't allow your emotions to take over, or you won't just instantly react to something, but you'll allow yourself to take the time to think about it and make the best move for you. And, or it could be a situation where you normally maybe like kind of weigh what you're doing too much, or you kind of are like back and forth on what you want to do. Sometimes you don't really trust yourself in terms of making decisions for yourself or something like that, and like that's part of the energy that comes up this week, and you needing to be able to trust yourself, and you needing to be able to figure out how you can um, own your decisions and own your thoughts and your actions, right? The other part of I Can Be Trusted in this week to me, especially with the Consider the Source, has to do with being able to trust what people are saying, what people are doing. And you are people, right? We are also people. So also you being able to be trustworthy, you saying what you mean and meaning what you say this week, you standing on business, you like not saying shit that you don't mean, so then people don't think that you're not trustworthy, right? And in that same breath, we have Consider the Source in terms of how other people are moving and what that's telling you, or what other people are saying and what that's telling you, what they're not saying and what that's telling you, and actually trusting yourself to believe what you see, right? One of the things we talked about in the collective reading this month is that there is a lot of deception. There are people who are not exactly who they say they are, okay? And so that may be coming up this week in terms of um, the messaging that's coming up, or in terms of the things that people are doing, or like I said, aren't doing. Okay. And so you need to pay attention to these things. Also, when you see these things, again, it's like, are you going to just react to these things? Are you going to make moves that are actually the best for you in the situation, right? If you see somebody, or you find out that somebody's being deceptive or doing some shit that's out of line, you know what I mean? Does it make the most sense to instantly react to that and like fuck them up or cuss them out or whatever? Or is it more pertinent for you to make moves that maybe help you distance yourself from this person? Or is it more pertinent for you to gather all the facts so that when you do confront this person, there's no way for them to get out of it, or something like that? You know what I mean? So that also comes up in terms of the energy of this week. And also, do you even want to deal with it? It may be a situation where it's just something that you know, and you, like I said, you just determine how you want to move going forward, or how your relationship will look. It's about evaluating the information that you get, and then how the next move best serves you. Okay. um the nucleus coming in, do you want to build your life around this issue, feeling, value, or person? How can you centralize that which you don't want to build around? The energy of this, to me, again, brings in the reactions or the feelings, right? There are times when a lot of us, and I shouldn't say a lot of us, there are times when some of us, um, we don't know how to separate certain things, right? And so even though we don't want to harp on something, or we don't want to think about something, or have it like be almost obsessive in our thoughts about it, um we sometimes can't help that, right? And or I should say, we can't help it. We feel as though we can't help that, right? Sometimes if something upsets us, even if it's something small, we kind of can obsess on that. And again, to me, the nucleus has to do with the things that come up this week that may normally garner a certain reaction. It's about um, recognizing that, and recognizing if those are the best ways to react to things, or recognizing if it makes sense, like if I'm given the right amount of energy to the right things, right? Because there are people that y'all are giving too much energy to shit that do not matter, is what I feel like, right? It's like you're allowing it to ruin your day, or your um mood, or you're allowing it to linger in ways that it shouldn't. And it feels like this is part of the energy of this week too, in terms of the nucleus. It's like what comes in hand, we have to really sit with it and think, how do we move in this situation, but also, how do I hold on to this? Do I hold on to this? Okay. So I'm going to pull a little bit more and see if there's anything else in terms of the energy of this week. The rebel. Where are you following rules you don't really care about? Excuse me, you don't care about or really believe in anymore. And then on the bottom, you have shrinking. Shrinking. Where are you making yourself smaller than you naturally are? Where do you feel a need to shrink yourself down to fit? What is this here to teach you? And what do you want to do about it? Okay. So I think those kind of lend to the energy that we were kind of already talking about. The shrinking, like I said, there it feels like there are times when you just don't trust yourself to make decisions, and in a sense that is shrinking, and in a sense part of why the reason you may have such a hard time sussing out what you want to do is because you have certain unconscious restrictions, or conscious restrictions, or unconscious or conscious rules that you put on yourself, or that you put into your life. And it's like, if these things are what is causing you to not be your full self, that's something that needs to be evaluated. And if it's coming up, then it's going to come up in some way this week, whether it's something that comes up in your thoughts, or there's a situation that comes up that makes you have to um, sit with this, or own it in some kind of way, or recognize it in some kind of way. Okay, so this is what I get for the energy of your week. Let's get into some specific things that may happen. Okay, let's get some specific things that may happen this week. So for the first part of the reading the energy, we use the Amenti Oracle deck. For this part, we're using the Tarot of the Divine. Okay, definite movement this week. Okay. So, like I said, with the first two cards, we definitely have movement this week. Okay, so you'll see a lot of things happening this week. You may have a lot of things going on this week. You may be trying to finish something. You may be trying to move from one thing to the next thing. You may literally be traveling this week, or either be coming back from somewhere or going somewhere this week. It feels like there may be people coming in, like you may have people coming over or people coming to stay with you. Um, and it feels like in terms of work you have a lot of shit going on this week, like who the people in pile one, it feels like you definitely may have a busy week at work, or you have like there's like more volume than usual, or something like that. You also have this nine of wands at the bottom right next to the high priestess, and so these two cards speak to what I was saying about trusting yourself. The Nine of Wands feels like fear and anxiety in most decks, especially in this one. It feels a little bit like she may be lost, or so you maybe feel like lost in ways this week, or you may not, again, know what to do or trust yourself to know what to do. But you have the High Priestess card right next to it. So there is this energy of you needing to sit with yourself to know, for you to go inside to know, for you to have stillness and be able to um, kind of block out the the bullshit, or to just like, it's almost like I like the thing I thought to myself was like locking yourself in the bathroom, which I'm not saying to do that, but it just, that's how it feels. It feels like I need to lock myself into a place to make a decision. And so keep that in mind this week. If you are feeling like you need to make a decision and you're overwhelmed, or you don't feel like you have the space in your brain, then this is telling you that you need to take time to yourself to be able to make this decision. It's only going to feel overwhelming if you don't. You know what I mean? So sit with yourself. This may also suggest that, like, for some people, there's specific things that may happen this week in terms of where you're supposed to get the information from. She has a book in her hand, so there may be information that can help you within a book, within things that you've written before. So like, look in old notebooks, look in your old journal, look at old emails or something like that. Like, you may have helped yourself or saved something somewhere if you're actually looking for information that can either help you find something, or help you make a decision, or help you do something that you need to do. The information may be in something, like literally like in an old notebook, in a book, in something that you have, in an email, in some kind of correspondence, in a text message, something like that. Okay. um, there also, if you're feeling super anxious this week, or anxiety riddled, take some time to like comfort yourself this week, because like I said, there's definitely a lot going on. We also have the Knight of Cups reverse, so it feels like you have him normally standing still and contemplative, but this reverse feels like you may not feel like you have time to do that, or there may be like a lot of shit going on. So like I said, take time to comfort yourself, take time to give yourself good things, take time to um, put on things that feel soft and like secure, and things that just make you feel better, especially if you're in places where you're feeling overwhelmed or scared, or you have a lot going on. Okay. In those moments, I should say, when you feel like that. Okay. This is a time, like I said, where you have to do things and make decisions and make moves, but it definitely needs to come from a very secure, knowing place. So take the time that you need to do that. Find the resources that you need to do that. And yeah, that's what I'm getting for the specifics of this week. Let's get into the best self-care for your week. So for this part of the reading, we are using the self-care oracle deck. Just slid out my hand. Okay. And I would like to know, what is the best self-care for pile one? Oh, all right. Have some things falling. Hold on. Okay, so the cards that we have for the best self-care for your week are chanting, connect with your womb, and look at the stars. So starting with chanting, I feel like the reason you got chanting is because you're meant to connect with your voice. You're not meant to connect with what feels good inside of you. If you've ever chanted, you know that there's a certain vibration that that is felt, and it goes all throughout your body, right? And so there's a need for you to connect with your voice so that you can speak what you want, but there's also a need for you to connect with what feels good in your body, what resonates in your body, so that you know what that feels like in other ways, right? So that you can then speak and move in those ways, so that you can then share those ways, okay? You then have connect with your womb, and we all have a womb, no matter what your gender is. We all have a womb space, and your womb space is about birthing and what can come forth and creativity. But your womb space is also about what you hold, right? Like, I feel like that's not talked about enough in terms of um, the things that we hold there, and the things that the energy that's held there, right? Outside of literally like having a baby there, right? But the the things that you hold are very important energetically, and we have to be mindful of the things that we hold within us, because those things either manifest into good, or those things can manifest into dis-ease or negativity, okay? And so I feel like connecting with your womb space and sitting with yourself, like I said, figuring out what feels good, figuring out what is being held, figuring out what you've held on to that you didn't necessarily want to, or that doesn't feel good, but that, like we said before in the other cards, you um kind of um didn't know not to, almost, you know what I mean? Like, it was habit in a sense for you to hold on to certain things, and you didn't recognize how those things would have long lasting impressions, or how those things would be held literally within you energetically, okay? And that this is something to like sit with and connect with this week, okay? Learning more about what that looks like and what that means, um doing more in terms of working with your creativity to see what comes out of you. I feel like for some people, you may do something creative and start to cry, or like start to have these emotions that well up that don't exactly like fit with what you're doing, but part of that is coming up because it's what's been held, okay? Or you may chant and feel certain energies or elements, rise up inside of you that you didn't know were there, okay? And that's part of what needs to happen this week, this recognition and release, okay? So that you can move forward, so that you can trust yourself, so that you can own the shit that you're doing. Also, we have look to the stars. And look to the stars can literally be about looking up at the sky this week, right? Going outside at night, standing there. Like I said, that time alone that you needed for yourself, that may be part of what you need to do, is actually be outside in the stars in the dark. That helps you to like hone in, that helps you to recognize the greatness of where you are, and like how small you are in comparison to, and give certain perspective. But also, look to the stars is about at your looking into your chart, looking at what's going on astrologically in either your natal birth chart, or your transit chart, or the transit chart of just, or excuse me, the chart of just like what's going on in the world. And I shouldn't say the chart of what's going on in the world, but like the transits of what's going on in the world and in the skies right now, and understanding how that relates to you, right? Understanding in your natal birth chart, let's say, how you may be indecisive, right? If you have like certain placements, maybe you have like Libra placements or Gemini placements, you may see in your chart that there's certain ways that, because you have this planet aspecting this planet, that you are easy to react to certain things, or you're easy to give energy to certain things that you don't necessarily want to, or that you regret in the end, or that sometimes maybe you have like a more brooding personality, right? You may have some like Scorpio or like some Capricorn up in there, you know what I mean? And like that may be why you are in certain ways the way you are. Or there may be something literally going on in the skies right now, in terms of, like I said, the transits that are going on, or like the transits that are going on in the sky versus how they're impacting you natally. And all of this can give you information on why you're doing what you're doing, why other people are doing what they're doing around you, why certain shit is happening. I remember one time I checked my chart, and it told me that I was going to be taking care of people who were sick. And literally, like 2 months before I had looked at that, I had started taking care of my aunt who had gotten a surgery, and at the time I was actually reading it, I was taking care of my friend who had just had a surgery, like the day I was reading it. And we went to her chart and looked, and what happened to her was in her chart as well. So we could have seen this shit had we known to look before. Okay, so like looking into your chart, looking at the stars is super super informative. It can let you know what's coming. It can let you know why she's already happening. It can give you better insight on who you are. Okay, so these are all of the things I think that. Oh, and wait, let me say real quick, there are many different ways to um, get into astrology. You have tropical astrology, which is a more Western form of astrology. You have sidereal or Vedic astrology. There are a number of different systems within even tropical astrology to learn or to understand how to look at your chart and things like that. So there's all kinds of ways to get into this. Okay, so these are the self-care cards that I'm getting for pile one. This was your reading for this week. Let me know how this week is for you. Let me know what's going on. Comment, share the reading with somebody else who may need it. If you'd like your own reading, book with me on wildheartbotanica.com. If you're not already, subscribe on Substack to get our monthly reading. The monthly reading for November is so fucking good. Go listen to it. We have our fairy tale reading coming out this week. Um, Subscribe on the YouTube if you're not already, and follow me on all of the socials at Tiny Divinations. I thank you so much for being here with me, for reading with me. If you have another pile, I will see you there. If not, I will see you in your next reading. Welcome in pile two to your week ahead reading. Let's get into your energy. So, the first thing you have is the song. You have Violet Skies by Snow Allegra. Let's get into your card. So, the card you have is I Care for the Earth. This comes from the Amenti Oracle. We then have Beauty. What do you need to hear and learn from beauty right now? What could shift for you by being around beautiful spaces and objects more? We then have Inner Child. If little girl you, and we're going to change that, if little you could be here now, how would she feel? Okay. If little you could be here now, how would you feel about this situation? What would you tell you to do? We then have spirituality and friendships. Okay, starting with the I Care for the Earth card. Um, I feel like, and I know that this may not make sense based on like the pictures and things like that on the card, but the energy to me for this week based on this card has to do with the fact that you are here for a reason. You are here on this earth at this time for a reason. And part of what we need to do this week is sit with that and kind of figure out why, beyond the suffering, beyond the bullshit, beyond um, like what's happening, whether that's in your individual life or the collective. And the collective definitely plays a part in it, even if there's a lot going on in your individual life. What's going on in your individual life may be being affected by what's happening in the larger collective, and or your emotions or your feelings may be being affected right now, as many of ours are, by what is happening in the world right now, what is happening in our neighborhoods and communities and things like that, right? But in a larger um, meaning or thought process, again, you chose to be here right now for this reason, and there's a reason. There is a very clear reason, okay? And you may not understand that reason or know that reason, but part of what this week is doing is kind of showing you what the shit that's happening right now is doing for you, how it's molding or shaping you, how it's preparing you, how it's building certain things within you, right? And that's a part of what needs to be seen this week, or part of what will come up this week, and then how that scene comes into me with perspective, right? With the beauty card, and it's in the lens of our spirituality, what we believe, what what beliefs we have, what beliefs we used to have, or what where our beliefs are shaping into, in a sense. Okay, so getting a little bit deeper into that, we have the beauty card. What do you need to hear and learn from beauty right now? Okay, to me that has to do with perspective and the beauty of you being here from this I care for the earth card, right? um may not be relevant to you right now, may not seem like you know what that looks like right now, what that even is. But the shift of looking at beautiful things, the shift of being able to see beauty around you, or being able to see the beauty that is the universe or the earth, or the beauty of people jumping in to take care of each other, the beauty of kindness, or the beauty of love, or like things that are very, specific to the earth that we live on and the life that we live, helps you to have a better perspective. It helps you to have a less jaded perspective. It helps you to um, see more of the intricacies and see and understand that there's more at play right now than like the bullshit or the fear mongering that's being pushed on us. There's more at play right now than the suffering and the lack that we see, because with even within all of these things, there's so much community, there's so much love, there's so much giving, right? And so again, this is part of what is being asked of you this week to see in different ways, whether that's in your own life, whether that's in the collective, whether that's in how you are meant to show up, or how you are being and have been molded and shaped and beautified in ways yourself. Okay, so like that's part of how that comes up to me. You have the inner child card, and I feel like part of this relates to the song that we have, because Violet Skies is really a song a Snow Allegra made for her younger self. And the inner child card, to me, in terms of the energy, I feel like there are things that may happen this week that your inner child would be disappointed with, right? Or there's things that have been happening that your inner child would be mad, sad, angry about, right? And that part of what comes up this week is you um sitting with that part of you that feels those things, and being able to mourn those things, and being able to comfort them through those things, but also, and being able to recognize, again, perspective, that you've made it through things, that you're stronger than, that you can take care of little you now, that if you little you felt supported, that they may have done things in a different way. And so within you supporting your inner you, or your little you, they can sit with you and help you think of ways to do things that you may not have come up with just adult jaded ass you know what I mean? Again, perspective. Okay, Violet Skies, the song, like I said, is about her inner child, but it's about perseverance. It's about continuing to move in the strength that you've developed, in a sense. You know what I mean? And so, like, that's part of the energy that comes up this week, too. We have the spirituality, which I just talked about a little bit, but again, it's like, what you believe, what you have to lean on, the faith that you have, the how what you believe shapes your perspective, or how it allows you to see um, more clearly or more intentionally of things. You know what I mean? And like I said, for some people, there may not be a real spiritual connection, and you needing to um, either have not needing to have that come up this week, but that coming up this week, and you having to like reconcile with that, or like sit with that, and or you needing to get back to what that looks like, or like some part of you needing to like move in your spirituality this week. Okay, you also have friendships, and in terms of the energy, I feel like the people around you can help change your perspective, can help you understand um, and see more beauty in things, the way that people are with you, the support that they have for you, the support that you lend to them, like the relationships that you have in general, can also help you in terms of understanding other people's perspectives and helping that help you shape your own, or helping you have other ideas about spirituality or things like that. Okay, so like these are all of the energies that come up to me this week for pile two. Let's get into some specific things that may happen this week. Okay, so let's get into some more specific things that may happen this week. Um, for this, we're using the Tarot of the Divine. So let's get into some specific things that may happen this week. For this, we are using the Tarot of the Divine. Just had some cards fall out. This one again. Okay, so we have the Hierophant, the Seven of Cups, the Nine of Wands, the Tower, and then the Ace of Wands. So, in terms of specific things that may happen this week, um, it's funny because we have the Nine of Wands. We had the Nine of Wands in the last pile, and the Nine of Wands was speaking about fears, being concerned about things like not working out or having anxieties about what's going to happen or what have I done or things like that. Then you have the Tower card next to that. So specifically this week, we may see things come apart in a certain way. You may have something end abruptly, or something that you may have been worrying about happening may happen in some capacity. It may not look exactly how you thought it would. It feels like if it does happen, you may have envisioned it being worse than it actually is, or like the anxiety that you have around it and the fear makes it seem bigger or more harsh or um, more like devastating in a way than it is. Okay. It also though feels like you have the Tower card with the Ace of Wands right after it. So if something does end this week, or something gets taken away from you, or you know, something is disrupted, like something else comes right behind it. Something else comes right behind it. You start something else right behind it. There's an opportunity that comes right behind it. Like, so don't sit so much in the worry of what this could be, right? Or the worry of what's going to happen. You know what I mean? Because again, there immediately you have a beginning, immediately you have something new, immediately you have like something actionable happening because this is a wand. So don't be so scared. Okay, you also have the Seven of Cups next to all of these, so it may be about something that you have to decide on, a decision that you have to make, or something that you have to choose between, or not knowing what direction to go in certain things, or about certain things, and then that causing you the fear and anxiety of thinking that you may like fuck yourself over, you know what I mean? But you actually being able to make the decision that's best for you, or making a decision that actually is something that helps you move things along, or something like that. Also, the thing about the Tower is that, like, a lot of times with Tower, um, it's shit that was already supposed to end, or shit that was already disrupted or shifting or something like that. Um, or like it's something that needs to be taken away to bring in something else. Okay, so I just want to see if I can get anything about what this Tower is specifically about. Y'all, what the hell? So many cards. Okay, we got this, and we got the Hangman. So yeah, like I said, I feel like the Tower card has to do with um with you being afraid of like, well, these cards have to do with like, to me these cards have to do with like being successful, having like your cup filled, but I think you're worried about making the wrong decisions and the wrong steps, or like getting stuck in a position or something like that. So I feel like that's what that kind of is about. um yeah, so what, like that 7 of cups is kind of encompassing all of this over here. um and then you have the Hierophant here. So in terms of the Hierophant, like I said, with these things, um it feels like there may be help for you this week. There may be people in higher positions than yourself that are able to help you, or help you make a decision. You may be needing to reach out to someone in power or someone that can help you. This may be around like whatever this has to do with, whatever is failing may have to do with this being in somebody's hands. So like um, a judge's decision, or like a higher ups decision, or like the government, or some kind of entity or something like that, right? So like, especially because right now when I'm recording this, there's a government shutdown. So it definitely could be like something that the government does affect something that you're doing and either takes that away from you like they've been fucking doing, right? Or is disruptive to you in life somehow or something like that. But again, it comes right back. So um this is the energy of what I'm getting for the specific things that may happen for you this week, pile two. I hope that this makes sense. Please let me know if this makes sense. We can get more into it if it doesn't. But let's get into the best self care for your week. Okay, so we are using the self care oracle to get your best self care for this week, pile two. That's a lot, feels like. Okay, so we have take a walk, pretty self explanatory. Make a meal. We have look at the stars and connect with your womb space, which we actually have for the other pile. I feel like look at the stars we need to keep. I'm going to put your womb space back. If that connects with you, definitely do that. If it comes back out, we're going to fuck with it. But I just want to see. Okay, so maybe that was right, but just in a different way, because we just got health checkup. Okay. So, in terms of the self care that is best for your week, we are going to start with health checkup. And because we got womb care, connect with your womb initially with the card before health checkup. If you are someone who has a physical womb space, then definitely go get a health checkup if you haven't already. If you have been feeling weird things or anything like that, then this is definitely something that needs to get looked into. If you have been having symptoms or anything like that, definitely look into these things. I feel like some people are like, I don't have time to go to the doctor. You can get a telehealth visit, right? But there are also people who will like, you'll Google yourself into having something, right? You'll like have this and you'll put your symptoms in, and then you'll see this and that, and then you'll go all the way to the worst thing. Okay. And so we need to go get a health checkup because we are not doctors, and the shit can be completely different than we think it is. It could be nothing, right? But it could also be something. So don't go off the premise that it's nothing, and don't do anything, and don't take yourself to the worst fucking thing that it can be, okay? When you could do something, okay? If you have the ability and the capacity to do something, then do something. If you are able to, um, you know, get help from somebody, because it feels like there are people who are scared because you want more natural doctoring or health advice or something like that. There are resources out there. There are reliable people. Vet people, okay? Vet people. get more than one opinion on things. So either way, whatever it is, this week, make your appointments, start looking into your things, start looking for a doctor, whatever it is you need to do. And it's funny because I was just looking for a new doctor like a couple of days ago. Anyway, take a walk. Okay. I feel like this is pretty self explanatory, but like I said, based on the things that we have going on this week, getting outside of yourself, getting outside of your space, being able to just be for a second, getting some air, being able to see, like we talked about, the beauty of the things that are around you, of the things that you don't necessarily normally look at or take account of. This is all really helpful to you this week in a number of different ways. Okay. And you had I Care for the Earth. And even though the first card we talked about wasn't um, like what we talked about wasn't necessarily explicitly related to the earth, the Take the Walk card with that also says that, like, maybe taking care of the earth in terms of, like, I don't know if you want to go out and pick up garbage, or if you want to go and like throw some like seeds somewhere, depending on where you live. You know what I mean? Like seeds for wildflowers, or like go feed some ducks or some squirrels, or like I just found out that crows apparently like eggs. So if you want to give some crows some egg, or like connect with nature in a way, then that's also a thing that it feels like would be beneficial for you this week. You have Make a Meal, and I feel like part of the Make a Meal has to do with people wanting to change their diets and change their habits already. And so that's part of why you have Make a Meal, and you have like all of these really healthy things on the cutting board in terms of what they're making. But I also feel like making the meal has to do with you using your hands and getting outside of your head this week. This is something that's helpful to you. Yes, it also gives you food that's beneficial, but it's something that's helpful to your mind. It's something that helps you get creative and get into a different space. And I feel like the food that you make will help to fuel you in different ways, like in terms of like you want to make healthier food, or you want to make things that are more hearty or something like that. And so it's going to give you the nutrients that you need, or it's going to give you the feeling or the comfort that you need, or like it's going to give you the brain boost that you need, or it's going to help make things easier for you, because part of you making the meal may be like meal prepping. And so like you're able to like more easily take things that you need and move in different ways. You know what I mean? And so I feel like that's part of why you have that as self-care. And then you have Look to the Stars. So like I said, to pile one, part of the Look into the Stars has to do with you looking at what's going on in the world right now. So like looking at the where the planets are and what sign, and like if you are into asteroids and what they're doing, right? What's retrograde right now in terms of planets, because we have a lot of planets that have just turned retrograde, or we have planets that have just moved into different signs. So understanding what's going on in the sky and how that's affecting everyone, not only yourself, but the collective, helps you understand and get a better perspective and understanding of like why things are the way they are, why people are the way they are, what's coming next, and also getting into your own personal um, natal chart or your transit chart, getting a synastry chart if we're dealing with like partners, or like um, understanding ancestral and astrology, so that you can understand things about your family, or why innately you are the way you are, why certain things have happened to you. Like all of this can come from learning um, astrology and your own personal astrology, or even learning about astrology in general, so that you can learn about other people. Okay, and again, it helps you have a more clear, honed, beautiful perspective, and that is part of why you're here and what will help you with why you're here. Okay, so this is what I got for you, pile two, for your week ahead. Let me know what you think. Let me know how your week is. Let me know how you're feeling. Share this with somebody who needs it. If you'd like your own personal reading, book with me at wildheartbotanica.com. If you're not already subscribed on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube. If you're not already subscribed on Substack, definitely subscribe on Substack or Apple Podcasts or Spotify to get our monthly collective reading and our fairy tale episode that comes out this week. Follow me on TikTok and IG at Tiny Divinations. And thank you so much for reading with me. I appreciate y'all so much. If you have another pile, I will see you there. If not, I will see you in your next reading. Welcome in pile three to your week ahead reading. Let's get into the energy of your week. So, the first song you have is Feelings by Betty Davis. The cards you have are I Do the Best I Can, The Future, Overwhelm. How are you hiding from overwhelm? How are you hiding inside overwhelm? In each case, what are you hiding from? Okay, so in terms of the energy of this week, number one, when I saw this, it reminded me of that Mariah Carey clip when she's drunk and she's with DJ Sus One and she's like, I'm gonna do the best I can with what I got. Like that's what this reminded me of. So I feel like that's something you need to keep in mind this week. Okay. You are doing the best you can with what you got. You're gonna do the best you can with what you have. And if that's not how you already feel, then I need you to claim that. I'm gonna do the best with what I got, right? I'm gonna do the best that I can. And it feels like that energy is coming in because this may be like for some people, this may be a little bit of a trying week. This may be a little bit of a week where you just feel like, when is this shit over? Okay. Like that's part of what I get from this. But you can handle this, right? You can handle all the things that are thrown at you. You always can. Sometimes you may not handle it the best that you can, right? Sometimes it may get the best of you, but I feel like again it's like I said to pile two, it's perspective, right? Part of why I feel like you got the overwhelm card, how are you hiding from overwhelm? Like I said, there's a lot that may be happening this week and you may want to just hide under a damn desk. You may want to just run away from everything that's happening, but you have the power, right? You have the ability to get the shit done. You have the ability to manage it. You have the ability to delegate it. You have the ability to put it off. You have the ability, you have the free will, you have the right, okay? And you need to keep that in mind, okay? How are you hiding inside overwhelm? There's some people that you're overworking yourself or you're doing too much in this area so that you don't have to face what's going on over here, okay? It's like you don't have to face what's going on at home, or you don't have to face what's going on um, underlying with you for real, or like something like that, okay? And like it says in each case, what are you hiding from? Okay. It feels like ultimately you're hiding from is from from your own, I keep saying power, but from your own power, from your own understanding of how capable you are, from your own um, knowing of what you can handle and what you can't handle, of your own um, understanding of like what you can handle and do in the present and how that is a benefit to your future, not how you need to like kind of worry about what your future is going to look like, or if you can have the future that you want, or if you have the ability or the power to to get to where you want to get to. Okay, it feels like a lot of this is on your mind this week. So um, let's get a few more cards in terms of the energy of this week. Tasks. What do you tell yourself when you look at your to do list? What does this teach you about your beliefs, the beliefs you hold regarding your capacity, the people in your world, and what is expected of you? How is all of this keeping you stuck? Just talked about this. Okay. We then have competition. How are your beliefs about competition holding you back from your highest good? How are they moving you towards it? What do these beliefs teach you about your approach to relationships, work, and conflict? And to me, that goes along with this overwhelm card as well. And then with the competition, I also feel like for some people, you're going to see this and think about how you are competitive, but for other people, it's about how you like run away from even being in the race. Like you run away from even putting yourself in the competition, and really needing to sit with why you do that, and it's, part of it is the power, what you believe you're capable of. Part of it is how, big you're dreaming for your future, or how big you aren't. Okay. So these are definitely questions to sit with in terms of um, what is going to come up this week with the energy. And then underlying with that, the last card we have is values. And I feel like your values and thinking about your values and evaluating all those things help you to answer these questions, help you to align more with your future, help you to recognize and see your power. Okay. So this is what I get for the energy of your week. Let's get into some specific things that may happen this week. So for those two, for the energy, we use the Amenti Oracle and the Clarity deck. And for the specific things that may happen this week, we are using the Tarot and the Divine. Move these over a little bit. Oh. Anything else? Okay. So for specific things that may happen this week, we initially had the Star card. It was reversed when I first pulled it out. I just turned it over. But and I feel like specific things that may happen this week with the Star and the Six of Wands, it may feel like something happens this week where you lose hope, or you start to feel like you don't know if something's going to happen for you, or you may, because we got that competition card before, you may lose out on something. Like you went for something specific, you went for a promotion, you went for a certain job or something like that, and you may not get what you wanted to get. That may happen this week. There may be something that happens this week where you just feel like very what I just heard in my head was this Jill Scott song, God Please Hear My Call. It's like her praying to God about really helping her and like coming down and giving her healing and just like coming in to kind of save the day, right? And so there may be something that happens this week where you feel like you need saving, or you need somebody to come and help you. You may definitely be in prayer this week, or may need to be in prayer this week. Or if you're somebody that does workings, you may be feeling in a place of desperation, so there may be a working that you want to do to help either reverse this card, right, to have you get the thing that you want, or to kind of help your situation, or to reverse the roadblocks that have been in your way. If this may be a week where you kind of try to clear the way for yourself, where you're actionary about calling in change and calling in um, real big heavy hitter celestial ass help. Okay. You have the Page of Wands. So even though we have the Six of Wands, which is seemingly like something doesn't happen, or something gets blocked, or there's a um, like there isn't a celebration, because this is normally like a celebratory card coming back from war. So it could be like a situation where you feel like you've been defeated. We then have this Page of Wands, which feels like we're still fighting. Okay. Like we're still fighting. We're still moving. We're still trying to take our shit back, or take it on, or something like that. These cards all together also, especially the Six of Wands and the Five of Swords, feel like there may be contention this week. So you may be dealing with arguments with people. You may be having people coming for you this week. You may be more aggressive yourself this week. So that's something to pay attention to. Part of why you may be more aggressive this week is because you feel like you're in a place of desperation, or you feel like you're kind of feeling hopeless, or you're just like not in a good space emotionally, which causes these ripple effects in every other way. Okay, so that's something to also be mindful of this week. We then have the Five of Swords, and part of what we talk about in the um, monthly reading is that we have people who are not necessarily trustworthy this month, or we have some deception this month, or we have things being revealed this month, or things like that. And so this card feels like you may have a situation this week where you learn something about a situation or people that is shocking or upsetting, or you have somebody move in a way that is very ego driven or selfish, and um, that is like very off-putting, or very hurtful or something like that. So that could also be something that comes up this week. These two cards make me also feel like there could be a fight, like you could like have, like I said, arguments, or there could be a physical fight this week, so be mindful of that. Okay. And then again, we go back to the I do the best I can. So if we're moving in the idea of I do the best I can and the values that I have, then we kind of want to mitigate some of this negativity that comes up. And part of how we can mitigate it is sitting in those things. And before we react, really stopping, thinking, praying, utilizing the spiritual tools that we have to kind of like help us realign. Okay. So these are some of the specific things that come up for you, pile 3, in terms of what may happen this week. Let's get you some self-care cards for this week. Okay, so we are using the self-care oracle cards. Okay. Ground yourself and connect with your ancestors. Oh, okay. And then we have movement, move these, and deep breathing. Okay. So I feel like a lot of why you got these specific self-care cards is because it's about getting back into your body for you this week. Um, there is a way that you can recognize your power by getting back into your body. There's a way that you can curb your reactions, or that part of um, curbing your reactions is by getting into yourself and um, stopping before you respond, so that you don't give your first reaction, you know what I mean? So that you have time to think about how you actually want to respond to things, or how you want to move. And all of these actions, like I said, I feel like bring you back in with the connection of connecting to your ancestors. So, starting with the grounding yourself, there are many different ways to ground yourself. You can do yoga, you can work with earth elements, you can put your hands on some dirt, you can stand on some grass, you can stand on a wooden floor, you can hold crystals, you can um, use sound like rain sounds or things like that. So like there are a number of different ways to ground yourself, but like or even sometimes Jessica Lanyadoo, she's an astrologer that I love, she talks about a lot calling your name. Like when you're in a space, when you're outside of your body, or you're like too much in your thoughts, say your name 3 times, and that brings you back into yourself. Okay. So these are ways and techniques to help you bring you back into yourself, to help you slow yourself down, to help you have patience, to help you bring clarity, right? To help you embody more of the things that you feel and you believe, because you're literally in your body. Okay. And so this may be a week where you want to practice the techniques that you know, or look for techniques that you can use, charge up your crystals, put them in your bras and your pockets, get outside so that you can connect, hug a tree, just lay on the ground, so that you can get that negative energy out of you, or whatever it is that you feel like doing. Okay. I'm going to go to movement from here, because again, we're in the grounding, and I feel like the movement helps you get out this excess energy, right? So like, let's say you have things this week and you have a situation where you might have normally reacted in a certain way, or had like a visceral response, or wanted to fight or anger, whatever it was, right? And you were able to curb that in that moment. You may still have that energy inside of you, and part of the movement helps you get this energy out of you in those situations, and in general, you know what I mean, to help you move the energy that you feel, to help you move the emotions, to help you move the negativity off you, to help you again get back into your body and feel yourself and feel good inside of yourself. um, Especially if you're somebody who's in your thoughts a lot, and so being like in the body feels chaotic in a way, you know what I mean? Movement allows you to not think, it allows you to just be, and it reminds you that you just are. Okay. And that may be a good lesson for you to sit with this week as well. We then have deep breathing, and again, it's the same exercise of bringing you back into you, bringing you into alignment, bringing things making things more slow, taking you back into a certain energy and wavelength so that you can make more actionable decisions from a place of self. Okay. And I feel like the deep breathing helps connect with the ancestors because it allows you to also clear your thoughts and clear your mind of the things that may be cluttering your mind right now. Okay. Then we have the connect with your ancestors. And your ancestors are those who come before you in your bloodline. And also, depending on how you believe and what your um, understanding is. Ancestors are also those who um, are outside of your bloodline that are in like within your race or your ethnicity or your like gender or within aspects that relate to you in a sense. So, for example, your ancestors could be like your great 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 grandfather, but it could also be if you are somebody who's Black, it could also be like a historical Black figure who would be considered as an ancestor, depending, like I said, again, on your beliefs, right? And so, part of connecting with your ancestors are understanding who your ancestors are to you and connecting with them so that you can understand them and their stories and how you came to be and where you come from and the connection that you have to the things that they have done or the things that they were doing or whatever comes up. It feels like for a number of people there are a number of different things, but again, the whole point of it is to help you connect to your body, to connect to yourself, to connect to who you are. And then this helps you connect to your values, what you believe, as well as what you believe you can do and your capacity for things, right? If you're reading about your ancestors and you recognize that they're able to still have or be or create all of these things in the midst of, despite all of the obstacles that they had in front of them, then you can really see, number one, where your power comes from. You can really see what you could be capable of or that what you could do. And I feel like there's a way that it not only strengthens you, but it opens your eyes up to like what makes you, you know what I mean? Because everything that they are is everything that you are. Okay. And that goes for, like I said, our blood ancestors and our non-blood ancestors. Because for me, that's how I have ancestors who are not just who aren't of my bloodline, but are my ancestors. Okay. So this is what I get for you, pile three, in terms of the best self-care. And this is your reading for this week. Please let me know how this week is for you. Let me know if this reading makes sense. Share it with somebody that you know definitely needs a word. If you'd like your own reading, book with me at wildheartbotanica.com. I would love to read with you. If you haven't already, subscribe on the YouTube. Follow on Substack or Apple Podcasts or Spotify for our monthly collective reading. Our fairy tale episode comes out this week. And follow on IG and TikTok at Tiny Divinations. Thank you so much for reading with me this week. I appreciate y'all so much. If you have another pile, I will see you there. If not, I will see you in your next reading.